What to do, my gente? Your boys coming through once again. And on today's video, we're going to bring an update on the Cesar Hernandez case. Something that he did, and they could, get in trouble, man. I don't know. Maybe. A lot of people are mad about this, but we see what happens. They did broke a law, and we'll see how it goes down. Now, also, I want to talk about this case because can you actually compare his case, the Cesar Hernandez case, with anything out there? Right? Because I heard people trying to compare with El Chapo, with Conejo from Harpies. But can you actually, if you think about it, can you actually compare with it? Because you have to think about it. The thing about this, we're not glorifying old boy. But we are paying attention that this is a big case. At one point, this is going to become a movie. Guarantee. But before we continue with this video, man, don't forget to hit the like, a comment. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, man, hit the subscribe button real quick. It doesn't cost you nothing. All you're doing is helping the channel get bigger and bigger, which I'll highly appreciate. For those new subscribers, for my old subscribers who've been pushing, supporting this channel, I do appreciate every single one of you guys. Muchas gracias. Now, let's get to the story. So, we didn't know what was going on right here in Tijuana when they went for Old Boy. At first, we thought that it was only the Fuerza Estatal. But no, there's pictures, there's videos of actually U.S. Marshals coming through and helping and assisting with this attempted apprehension, right, of Cesar Hernandez. So you might say, okay, well, what's wrong with it, right? Because they can come to Mexico, they can participate, supervise. They can supervise, make sure that everything runs smooth. As long as they don't have no weapons, they don't have no tactical gear, right? But this is not the occasion. On this occasion, actually, the U.S. Marshals participated full blast. They had weapons and they had tactical gear, which they have said before that the U.S. Marshals are right here in Mexico with all that stuff. But there's any footage out there? I don't know. But at least this time they got them on footage. And now Fuerza Estatal has to answer to that because that's a violation of the law. It's like not a Mexican official cannot go to the U.S. and take their gun, take their tactical gear, and try to apprehend somebody. They can't do that. Period. They can't do that. So the same way that the law is in the U.S., it's the same way the law is over here in Mexico. They cannot do that. Period. And now that this happened, we'll see what's going to happen. Somebody's going to get in trouble. Unless the president don't want to make a big deal about it. But we'll see what happens. Now, they're saying that Cesar Hernandez actually he got into a 5-minute shootout. Just 5 minutes. That's all it was. Let's not forget, maybe there was not that many cops when they went over there because they're saying it was 300. But at first, it had to be just a couple trucks. It was not 30 individuals. It was probably less than that, man. If the most going to be, 10, 15, if that. And they're saying that he got in a shootout for 5 minutes. If a Policía Municipal was trying to get into the house after the shootout, right? But the Fuerza Estatal told him, no, you're not allowed to go in because we are in charge of this apprehension. Now, they waited for the armored truck that took 2 hours to arrive. But this time, Cesar Hernandez was long gone, or he dressed like a barrendero, who eventually, I believe, they said that he jumped a barda. There's even pictures of the little bucket that he jumped to a different residencial right there. For those who don't know, man, residencial, especially that, it costs money to be right there, man. And apparently one of his girlfriends was living in Tijuana, right? One of his girlfriends was living in Tijuana. I don't know if this girl helped him or what happened, right? But we're going to bring a story when it comes to that later on. But now what I want to speak as well is, can you compare this case with somebody out there, right? They're trying to compare with Conejo from Harpies, right? Who was wanted for the 187. He ended up going on a run, came over here to Tijuana. He was working for some people and stuff like that. And then eventually, after so many years, 10 years, 15 years, he ended up getting busted, right? He went to county. He only did a year, time served, whatever. And he was free, man. Or I heard people trying to compare him with El Chapo, who escaped from his first prison, dressed like a lady, or the other version is that he escaped by getting himself inside a laundry car and getting away from that prison. Then eventually getting busted once again. And this time, somebody ended up digging a tunnel under his cell and basically take him out. Right? So, can you actually compare these two individuals with Cesar Hernandez? My opinion, humble opinion, no. I believe that Cesar Hernandez, his story is better. It's actually a story for a movie. Why? Trip on this. He escaped from a high security prison in the US, level 4. He was cuffed up. He had 2 guards with weapons, and he still managed to escape. He managed to drive, what is it, like 9 hours? I don't know who helped him or whatever, but he managed to plan that escape. They drove 8-9 hours to Tijuana, and he managed to stay over there. What, for 5 months, 4 months? Just based on the escape that he did in California as a CDCR, that's a big thing. It hasn't, I mean, it's been like 50 years since somebody of that level has ever escaped, right? And all we hear about escapees in prison when it comes to California is all those level 1s, level 2s that basically they have a fence that's like 4 feet tall and people can just jump them and the next city is right next to them. You know, that's what we hear, and eventually get caught like within a couple of days, a week or whatever. That's all it is. But his case is something bigger, man. That's why we're talking about this, because we're not glorifying old boy. We're not. But we are understanding that this is a big case, you know? Now, by them going, by the Marshals, the Fuerza Estatal, going to his house, and he getting in a shootout with those individuals, and managed to get away, when apparently there was 300 cops, when apparently was 300 cops surrounding the area to make sure that he didn't get away, and still managed to get away, run around with his tarantaras, jump over a barda, and got dressed like a barrendero and sneak into the neighborhood like nothing happened. That is some crazy stuff, man. And that's why we're talking about this, because this is not just a story, man. This is a big event. It's a big event that we're going to see on movies later on, man. I'm telling you. That's why when people are like saying, hey, man, why are you speaking on this so much? If you can't understand how big this is, man, you have to just pay attention. This individual did the impossible. And people, I want you to pay attention to this and just twist it a little bit, because this isn't a negative look, right? But if you pay attention to his get down for a positive look, it tells you that nothing is impossible. You know what I mean? So just think about this. If this vato was able to escape twice from a difficult situation, basically saying that possibly this could be impossible, maybe you can do something positive and be like, you know what? It's not impossible. I can do this. You know, just twist it a little bit, you know? But this individual can be giving you a lot of motivation. Use it on a positive way. I just thought I should just put this out there, man, for you guys to know. And trust me, hopefully everything ends good. We don't want to see anybody get hurt again, right? Sad situation, but it's reality. This is a major event, and we'll see how it's going to end. So with this being it, we're out to next video. Muchas gracias.